more than 4 hours before officials announced that anyone awaiting word on Flight 370
Panic, fright, and horror. These words are not enough to describe how pilots feel when something goes wrong during air travel. Thanks to the flight recorder, also known as the black box, an electronic device that records sounds in the cockpit, including the conversations of the pilots and helps facilitate investigators into air crashes, we can relive the chilling moments surrounding some of the most tragic deaths in aviation history, even though we all don't wish to be in their shoes. In this video, we press play on 6 of the most disturbing last words from pilots before their planes tragically crashed. At number 1, good night, goodbye, we perish. The crash of LOT Polish Airlines Flight 5055 in the skies above Warsaw, Poland is a heartbreaking tale of horror, bravery, and fate. With 183 passengers aboard the plane, this international passenger flight was scheduled for New York City in the United States, taking off from Warsaw Frederick Chopin Airport in Poland on the 9th of May in 1987. However, disaster struck just 56 minutes after takeoff as the Ilyushin Tu-62M experienced 2 left engine failures caused by faulty bearings and a disintegration of the plane's engine shaft. This would begin a chain of catastrophic events and result in parts of the plane being engulfed in flames that destroyed the flight control systems and left the crew helpless. Recordings recovered from the plane's black box revealed the disturbing last words of the plane's captain, originally spoken in Polish but translated into English as, the crew were well-seasoned flight professionals with thousands of flight hours under their belt and fought relentlessly until the situation was completely out of their control. This story ends with Flight 5055 crashing into the Kabati Woods Nature Reserve near Warsaw and killing all 183 people on board the aircraft that day. This created a dark chapter in Polish aviation and remains one of the deadliest accidents involving an Ilyushin Tu-62 to date. Number 2. God is the greatest. On the 29th of October 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 met tragedy only 13 minutes after it took off from Soekarno-Hatta International Airport in Tangerang, Indonesia, bound towards Depati Amir Airport in Pangkal Pinang. The Boeing 737's warning systems had incorrectly sensed the aircraft to be stalling and alerted the cockpit crew before its nose pitched towards the earth. This would send the pilots into a frenzy, causing them to race against time, trying to decipher what went wrong with the plane. While desperately battling to regain control through this abnormal event, with the plane nosediving even further despite their best efforts, the pilots remained silent, but in the last seconds before their horrific death, the first officer in Indonesian said, an Arabic phrase that loosely translates into God is the greatest. Lion Air Flight 610 tragically plummeted into the Java Sea, killing all 189 people on board the aircraft and sending the nation of Indonesia into a long period of grief. Number 3. Ma, I Love Ya. On the 25th of September 1978, Pacific Southwest Airlines Flight 182 was on its way to San Diego after taking off from Sacramento in California. With 135 passengers on board, unaware that they would be involved in a catastrophe that would change aviation forever. The Boeing 727 was bound for disaster as it descended towards San Diego International Airport, colliding with a private Cessna 172 aircraft which was piloted by a student undergoing instrument flight training. The impact was merciless, and the recording from the cockpit revealed a haunting last conversation between the flight crew. In horror, the captain says, "What have we got here?"
Okay, we have it there. There we go.
The first officer replies, "We're hit, man. We are hit." Seconds later, the captain is heard again. "This is it, baby," he said.
Probably about 3 to 4 miles. Okay. Exactly.
And just before the crash, he says, "Brace yourself. Ma, I love you." This tragic collision claimed the lives of all 135 people aboard Pacific Southwest Airlines Flight 182, also killing the 2 people in the Cessna aircraft and 7 more people on the ground. This accident was attributed to air traffic control mistakes and errors from the pilots. At number 4, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. On the 22nd of May in 2020, while most of the world battled the deadly COVID-19 pandemic, Pakistan International Airlines Flight 8303 was involved in a catastrophic crash that sent shockwaves through the aviation industry. Carrying 91 passengers and 8 flight crew members, the plane, an Airbus A320, was approaching its destination of Jinnah International Airport in Karachi after taking off from Allama Iqbal International Airport in Lahore, Punjab, Pakistan. However, after spending 90 minutes in the air, the crew ready to land this aircraft, but a master warning alarm sounded, signaling to the pilots that there was a safety issue preventing smooth touchdown. This situation escalated rather quickly as the crew soon lost control of both plane engines while trying to climb 3,000 feet higher for another touchdown attempt, making the plane fall freely out of the skies. Aware of the horror facing them, the crew radioed a mayday call to the air traffic control towers, and this, sadly, was the last communication heard from inside the cockpit.
Runway available to land at 25. Roger. Clear Mayday, 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 Pakistan 8303. Pakistan 8303, Roger. The both runways available to land.
The captain said, according to an English transcript just before the transmission was cut off. Flight 8303 crashed into a residential area near Jinnah International Airport, claiming the lives of 97 people on board and leaving authorities in shock as they searched for clues to solving this tragic air crash mystery. Number 5. We're going down, we're not going to be able to make the airport. On the 28th of December in 1978, United Airlines Flight 173 took off from John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York, headed for Portland International Airport in Oregon, with a scheduled stopover in Denver, Colorado. The aircraft, a McDonnell Douglas DC-861, had been on a smooth cruise until it suddenly developed a landing gear problem as it approached Portland. The crew immediately swung into action, trying their best to salvage the issue to no avail, and in the process, burnt more fuel than they had planned for as they circled near the airport. In the panic, they had failed to monitor fuel levels and would eventually run short, causing the plane to drop rapidly out of the sky. Were the frightful last words heard from the first officer at the air traffic control tower. United Airlines Flight 173 would eventually crash into a residential area, claiming the lives of 10 people, 8 of whom were passengers and 2 from the flight crew. At number 6, I don't want to die, please don't kill us. On the 22nd of August in 2006, Pulkovo Aviation Enterprise Flight 612 was scheduled to fly from Anapa Airport in Russia to Pulkovo Airport in St. Petersburg, carrying 160 passengers and 10 crew members aboard. Only 30 minutes into what had been a normal flight, the aircraft, a Tupolev Tu-154M, found itself navigating through severe turbulence as thunderstorms loomed in the dark skies surrounding it. The crew attempted to steer the plane through these formidable weather conditions, but disaster soon struck as the turbulence became intensified. The aircraft entered into a stall, which was followed by a deadly tailspin that sent it plummeting to the ground at ghastly speeds, throwing the crew into panic. Present on the flight deck were the captain, a co-pilot, a trainee pilot, and a flight engineer, all fighting to save their lives and that of the many passengers aboard the plane. Recordings from the black box would reveal the heartbreaking last words of the crew. The captain screamed as the plane descended from the sky. The trainee, a young pilot who had only 189 flight hours to his name, totally terrified, said, Flight 612 would later end in a catastrophic crash to the ground near the Russian border, killing all 170 people on board on impact and becoming one of the deadliest aviation accidents in Ukrainian history. The cockpit voice recorder not only solves the mystery behind tragic plane crashes, but also gives a beacon of hope that helps us prevent sad aviation histories from repeating themselves. Thanks to this almost indestructible device, we see that even the bravest and most experienced aviators are humbled when faced with how fragile our existence can be. We remember the lives lost in these accidents and honor their memory by striving for safer skies. And that's a wrap for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Did we miss anyone? Let us know in the comment section. And also let us know which one sent the most chills down your spine. If you love aviation content like this, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. See you in the next one.